Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another round of sound. This is the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. I'm Bob Pompeani. Let's face it, the only topic tonight, the #1, 2, 3, and 4 topic will be the Pittsburgh Steelers on all facets. And here to discuss is your panel tonight. We have Will Graves with us from the Associated Press. Mark Kaboly's back with us. Good to see you, Mark. And he's, of course, representing The Athletic. Everything back to normal, I hope, and you're feeling better. Yes? Okay, good. And Chris Mueller, of course, from the PM team, and also a national show, Mr. October, eh?
Yeah, I'm not saying Mike Tomlin's Mr. October right now. I'll tell you that much. That's not his silhouette.
All right, so let's get right into this, guys. There are a lot of things that went wrong today, defensively, offensively. I mean, the defense gave up too many big plays. But, Mark, if you have to look at this offense right now with a week off, if there's a time to make an offensive change with coaches, would you do it? And if so, what would it look like right now with regard to specifically Matt Canada?
It's really, you know, there's not much you can do, guys, right? I mean, what can you do personnel-wise? There's not much there. If you look at the offensive line, there's not much behind him other than maybe Kendrick Green, right? But if you're talking about coaching staff, if you're talking about coaching staff right now here, and I really doubt this would happen, is the only thing you could possibly do is take some of the play-calling responsibilities away from Matt Canada and give it to somebody else. Maybe have Mike Sullivan do it. Maybe even have, you know, Eddie Faulkner do it. Somebody to do it to get a different view, a different line. Because, you know, you look at it and it's just, he's never been really a good play caller. If you look even in the college ranks, he's never did it in the pros. It takes time to be able to do that, and I think that's a big part of it. His scheme might be okay. It might be okay. I doubt if it is, but you know,
college,
to be honest with you,
it looks like a college offense.
I don't think he knows how to call plays, and there's a talent to that.
So, yeah, it's funny that you bring up the distinction between having a bad scheme or having good plays or bad plays and knowing how to call them, because we've had, like, you know, a bunch of analysts on the show this week saying calling a game is storytelling. You know, you've got to be able to tell a good story. You've got to be able to have plays that set up other plays. You know, I was watching games today. My parents, wherever, I just remarked to my dad, hey, look at all these bad teams, Dad. Even they have guys running free on plays. The Steelers never do. Nothing's easy. We all gave him credit for that Chase Claypool to Derek Watt play. It shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't require a jet sweep that turns into a little left-handed flip. So I'm with Mark that they don't have a guy who can actually flow the game and feel the game and call it. Like, Kyle Shanahan might be the best guy in football at this. I mean, it's really fun to watch Frisco when they get going. I'd give Mike Sullivan the play calling job. I'd give the one guy on that staff who has done this before, poorly, I might add. But I would give that guy, I know what Matt Canada is going to look like, a bunch of disconnected plays, Will, that don't, like, do anything. I mean, and you're going to be ticked off, and you're going to, yeah, nothing builds. There's no build.
No sequences.
Pickett, you can tell, isn't finding open receivers. I don't want to absolve him. He missed some throws today. But you can tell when he drops back on about 60% of these pass plays, he doesn't see first or second read open.
Right. No, I mean, but we're talking about what's realistically going to happen, right? A lot of people want to fire Matt Canada. I think we asked him about 17 different ways on Thursday. You think you should be fired, right? To his credit, look, I think for him personally, this isn't any worse than what he endured at LSU in 2017, right? And he got through that season. So to me, it seems unlikely that they're going to fire him. What I would say is more likely that they might do it might be behind-the-scenes stuff. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Keith Butler said that Mike Tomlin was running the defense the last 2 years. It could be a very similar situation where Matt is still the guy that comes out and talks to us. He's still in the game plan meetings, and maybe Sully has a more of an input in the offense. But again, I think I said this last time I was on. To me, part of it's a talent issue, man. It is when you look at it is, and it's not 1 through 12. It's like 25 through 45. I mean, the Eagles guys are better. They were deeper. It looked like varsity versus JV today.
So it's interesting you say that, because Buffalo obviously exposed it like that too, 38-3. The Dolphins have a really good offense, and they have some stingy guys on defense, right? But they didn't have the horses everywhere, every level of the defense to expose them. I thought today, along with Buffalo, probably the two best teams they've played all year, the Steelers got exposed offensively at every level, that they're just efficient. I mean, there's Jordan Davis blowing up the pocket before he went out. There's Fletcher Cox. Hey, we can throw Robert Quinn in here.
Javon Hardrow.
My God, Bradbury, it was like Bradbury was like watching Tom Glavine. He keeps throwing the ball off the corner one inch, but because he can do it every time, he never gets called. Bradbury's playing physical with those guys, right? I mean, they have multiple corners. They have safeties that are good. They have linebackers that are good. They have a defensive line that controls the game. And to Will's point there, Mark, I don't know, to me, that was a big takeaway I had thinking about the game. They just don't – they're outclassed. And that's usually not what we say about the Steelers. It might, okay, scheme this, but they don't have the horses at a lot of positions.
Yeah, on defense, I think they have a lot of talent.
Well, I'm talking about their offense.
I think the offense is a bad mixture of they have talent, but they have a lot of inexperience and guys who haven't been in the system for so long. I mean, half these guys are brand new this year. I mean, that entire offensive line, 60% is new. Pickens is new. Najee's only been around a year or two.
Well, it's bad for Najee that Jalen Warren, who is brand new, looks better than him pretty much every time.
One thing about the offensive coordinator, too, is Randy Fichtner is another one that struggled with the play calling, right? Because he never did it before, other than Memphis. You got to go back to Todd Haley, and he took a lot of criticism. That's the guy who was able to put together a good
coordinator. I'd kill for him to coordinate their offense
right now. He could put together
a
series of plays to set up things, and they had talent back then. But
I mean, think about how the NFL works too. When they played 2 years ago here during the COVID year, and Chase Claypool looked like he was going to be Randy Moss that game, right? And people were like, "What is Jalen Hurts? What is Jalen Hurts? He was a project at that time." And let's remember that Claypool got picked. 4 spots before Jalen Hurts. The Steelers were so hell-bent on trying to extend Ben's window that they didn't see the forest. They saw the trees, and I think this is literally part of that.
And they told that story on the broadcast today that Hurts thought the Steelers were going to pick him.
It's funny because Tomlin said on Tuesday they didn't even look at him.
Yeah.
So and Nance then tells it. It's like, oh yeah, he hit it off really well with him, and he said, well, Tomlin kind of has that effect on everybody. But yeah, it's a fair point. I mean, also, I guess this is what I would say to try to be optimistic for once in my life or shed a ray of hope. I know. It's not unlike this jacket. It's not a good fit for me. Hurts was getting killed last year by the Philly media. Sirianni was getting crushed. That this is a rudimentary
offensive
high school.
Coordinator, everybody.
Yeah, everybody there. This is so dumb. What are you doing? And you guys know Philly media. It's vicious out there. They clearly figured it out. I think the difference is they do have more talent there. And they have an offensive line that allows that to grow and bloom.
Yes or no answer before we go to break. At the end of the season, even if they don't fire Matt Canada right now, will they do it at the end of the season?
Well, they'll say that he wasn't retained, but yes, he won't be.
Well, he's got a year left on his deal, doesn't he?
He won't be the coordinator next year.
I don't know if if it's usually a 3-year deal for coordinators, right? I don't know if that bled over with the quarterback coach or not, so we don't know. There's no way he can bring him back. No way.
I mean, if they bring him back, I think not only would it look horrible for Mike Tomlin, I think Art Rooney would just
step in.
Well, if they brought him back, though, Mark, my point would be Art would look worse than Tomlin because I think everybody at that point would know they were just, hey, we don't want to pay this guy not to work.
Right. We got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the quarterback, Kenny Pickett. And this comes after Bill Cowher offered his opinion about what's going on. And it's very interesting, his take. We'll talk about that and more when we continue. It's the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown.
#1 Cochran Sports Showdown is brought to you by #1 Cochran. Go one better.